What is the difference between the world's best, most elite salespeople and those that just struggle to make a living when it comes to sales? What are the key factors that are the real difference between the very best and the average? In this video, I'm going to share with you a key phrase and series of words that you need to take into account and start using in your sales approach if you want to become one of the best and move away from becoming average and just a general everyday salesperson. My name's James White, I'm the UK's leading prospect conversion expert, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about the concept of ESI, Emotional Sales Intelligence. Let's take a look at the video. So what are the key skills that separate the very best from the average? So many different reports have been created around the concept of something called emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence is a concept that was created by a guy called Daniel Goleman a number of years ago. But one of the key elements around emotional intelligence, it has 5 key attributes, which we'll talk about in a moment, that make the difference between the very best and the very average. But what's key for me is how do we turn those so that we get the sales part of that, making a real difference in the results that we achieve. And what are the key 5 elements of emotional intelligence that we can use and then adjust in order to make sure that the results we get are of that highest level? So what are the 5 elements of emotional intelligence? The first element is around the concept of self-awareness. The very best people in sales are able to understand the environment that they're in and be able to really look at what's happening in the conversations that they're having and presentations with the prospects that they engage with. They're able to really be aware of what's going on, what's taking place, what's being said and what's not being said. How is a prospect reacting to the way in which you're engaging? Are they interested or are they maybe turned off? How aware are you of the way in which you engage and can sense that something's not quite right to be able to adjust it to be able to get a better result? The key best salespeople are able to tune into what their prospects are doing through the reactions and the emotions that they give off and become really self-aware of what's happening and how their work and their emotions are controlling and having an impact on someone else. For example, maybe you're in a presentation or maybe even a meeting with a few people and someone just starts scrolling through their phone. What do? Do you carry on because do you know what, that just happens? Do you basically tell them, hey, don't do that, you're in a meeting with me? Take those actions and it's probably going to cause you problems and stop you from winning the business. Maybe the person with the real astute emotional sales intelligence would look to say, I just wanted to confirm that the information I'm going through here or the points that we're covering are the right thing for you, or is there anything else that you'd rather cover than what we're doing here? Or maybe that you'd be in a position where you'd be able to take a look at that and think, okay, I'm going to see if that carries on for a moment or two, and if it does, maybe just use it as a chance to reconfirm the agenda. Are the key points that we're going through the points that you want to cover, person X or person Y? Being in tune to what goes on and being able to be self-aware is a fundamental skill that the very best salespeople have. They're able to identify what's going on in the environment around them and take actions to ensure they get the right result. So my question to you is, do you have self-awareness in a sales situation? Are you able to control what you do and look around what's happening to then identify, actually I need to do something different as a result? If you can, and if you do, it's going to be a massive help for you to be able to then see what's going on and adjust your behaviour, be self-aware, to be able to get the result you want. The second point, which is so key when it comes to sales, is the idea of something called self-regulation. What does self-regulation mean? It basically means being in a position where you respond rather than reacting. We've all been there when a situation has happened in a prospect meeting or an engagement and something goes wrong or something changes from what you had planned. And in many cases, I've done it myself. I know the reality is we all get told count to 10 and do these other things, but we react straight away. We're frustrated, we're annoyed. Maybe a prospect tells us we're wrong. Maybe someone says to us that we're not doing something in the right way. Or maybe even a prospect that we've been to see in a meeting or planned a meeting with suddenly cancels on us in the last minute. What do? Do you react and say, bugger to you, and I'm going to get annoyed by this and be in a position where I'm going to react and potentially throw away an opportunity? Or do you take that moment to say, hey, how can I control my relations? How can I regulate how I feel in order to ensure that I get the right result at the end? There's a great saying I always use in lots of cases. Focus on actually winning, not necessarily winning the battle, but you've got to win the war. And sometimes to win the war, you accept that you may lose a few battles. You regulate that because you know the end of what you're going to get is much better and worth more. And so the question is, maybe when you've gone to meet a prospect who you've planned this big presentation with and you've engaged, you've done all this work, and suddenly they just tell you they've only got 10 minutes to have that meeting with you. What do? Do you say to them, that's not acceptable and this isn't good enough and I've really worked hard for it? Or maybe just say to them, okay, let's arrange it for another time. Do that, you may lose the opportunity. Certainly if you tell them that you're frustrated by that, you've got every chance of losing the opportunity. But maybe if you say to them, hey, totally, Alex, I understand that totally. No worries at all. And look, I know you're busy and it's a bit of a shame because I'd love to cover things off for you, but tell me, what are the key things you'd like me to go through in this 10 minutes that can be the maximum use of your time that can help you achieve your goals? By being able to regulate your emotions and be able to adjust and adapt, I can assure you it's going to help you build that better relationship with the prospect. You reacting and going OTT and saying everything's wrong is not going to help you win the business. And how we control our own and regulate our own emotions and feelings makes a huge difference in whether we're successful or whether we fail. So look at how you can self-regulate what you do. How can you control your emotions? How can you stop interrupting? How can you stop, for example, wanting to say something when a prospect's talking? The ability to self-regulate, control yourself and control your emotions is a key factor in the difference between the very good and the very average. Do that and it's another tick in the box to making sure you've got emotional sales intelligence, which the very best have, to get the very best results. The third element of emotional intelligence relates to that great aspect around motivation. Sales is such a tricky business. We all know that it's as many no's as it is yeses in many respects. We're never going to convert everyone we work with. We're always going to be in a position where we kiss lots of frogs to find the odd prince. It's what happens in sales. And we have to be in a position where we're able to control our emotions and still motivate ourselves to continue to focus and win the battle in the end. The very best salespeople are able to control their emotions and still maintain their motivation to keep going. Even if you've lost 3 or 4 deals in a row, maybe there's something you've done that you wish you hadn't done. You can look back and say, I'm still going to be motivated to continue because I believe in what I'm doing. I believe in how I'm helping my prospects. I believe in myself and I'm going to make a success of this. I can learn how I can get better. I can regulate my emotions, but I'm going to focus on being positive and making something happen. Your motivation is the difference between the really good and the really average. And maybe it comes down to maybe when you've been talking to a prospect about delivering them a proposal. Maybe the proposal, you've just been busy with other things, is going to be late. What do? Do you just tell them it's going to be late? Do you not deliver on time? Or do you actually just say, no, I'm going to motivate myself to work through to get this done whenever it needs to be done so I can deliver on the promises I made to my prospects? Motivation is key from a sales perspective. You've got to have that internal drive and want to be successful and the want to keep going, even when sometimes you get no after no. If you have that motivation, if you're able to assess what's happening, be able to look at how you can adjust what you do, it's going to be a key factor in a difference between the very good and the very average. So the fourth element around emotional sales intelligence or emotional intelligence relates to one of the other key, most passionate things I believe that the very best salespeople have. And it's this word called empathy. The very, very best have this element to be able to put themselves in the shoes of their prospects. They're able to look and think and wonder, what are they going through at the moment? They see the deal or the opportunity, not from their side, not how much money it's going to make them or what it's going to do for them, but what's it going to mean for the prospect? What's it going to give them? How is it going to help them? What's it going to change in their world? What's it going to do differently? And very, very good salespeople are able to put themselves in the shoes of their prospect, think like them, and have empathy to think, I think that's going to be a challenge for them. And maybe even think ahead, what's going to go on? What are they going to feel when I'm doing this? What's going on in their world? How busy are they? How big is the work that I'm doing a part of their work? How can I make things better for them? How can I serve them? How can I help them? Empathy is such a key skill when it comes to sales, to be able to really think what they're going through and see how they're reacting and what's happening. And we get to understand that by asking the right questions and by getting to know the prospect and go and seeing what's happening there. If we can be in a position where we have basically been in a position where we've arranged a meeting with someone and maybe that meeting's been cancelled, maybe the obvious thing to be able to think is, oh, they've let me down. That's thinking from your perspective, not your prospect's perspective. Maybe you can reach out and say, hey, I'm really sorry we weren't able to meet today. I hope everything's okay. Hope things are good with you and look forward to rearranging. Show that empathy, show that kindness, that willingness to be in their position. And of course, if things continue to change and they continue to fob you off, you might want to be self-aware and start to say, hey, maybe the conversation we had isn't what I thought it was. Or you might want to adjust your approach to get a different result. But by being empathetic and really thinking about what your prospect's going through, and not just thinking for one moment, but really trying to think, what are they doing now? What are they thinking? How can I adjust what I say to make something different and better? It is a key factor in winning people over. We connect with people emotionally, build empathy, feel and understand what they're going through. And I know, and I can tell you, I can assure you, it's going to be a key factor in helping you win more business. And the final key point around emotional intelligence, or emotional sales intelligence, comes down to the idea of socialization. Socialization is just the ability to build connections, build networks, make people feel that you're someone they want to do business with. Statistics will show time and time again that even in this world of e-commerce and all this technical stuff going on, people will still pay more to do business with people they like and who they've built a rapport and trust and relationship with. Are you in a position where you can socialize, where you can build really good relationships with people? Can you go and meet someone and be really pleased to get to know them and say, hey, I'd love to find out about you and what's going on in your world, without thinking, I want to talk about myself. I want to be myself. In my sales is like dating model, I talk around how when we're engaging with someone, that's so key. We don't want to be in a position where we're talking about us. And so many salespeople and companies make the habit of talking about themselves rather than being able to build relationships. Who wants to be in a relationship with someone that just talks about themselves all the time? It's boring. I don't want to do it and I don't want it to happen. Look at how you can adjust your approach to be able to build better relationships. When you're meeting with a prospect for the first time, are you thinking, what can I sell them? Or are you actually thinking, hey, do you know what? I'm going to really just get to know this person. I'm just going to get to know who they are, what's going on in their world. I'm going to empathize with them. I'm going to try and get to know what's happening so I can see if I can make a difference and help them. If you can focus on getting to know them, building a relationship with them, building a rapport with them, yeah, you may not win the business on the first deal, but I can assure you it's going to give you a better chance of having a second and third meeting with them where you can maybe win business. Whereas if you go in and just trying to sell without trying to build that relationship and engage, it's more than likely going to hurt you and it's going to stop you from winning that business. Or even if you do win the business, it's going to be because you've got a price that they want and it's just a product that's a commodity rather than the relationship that's been built. Being social, being able to build relationships and network is again a fundamental element of sales success. And these 5 skills are all key parts of how the very best salespeople have emotional sales intelligence to win out. So in the video, I've shared with you a number of concepts around emotional intelligence, but how we adapt and adjust this from a sales perspective. So my message to you is this: are you self-aware? Are you able to look yourself in the mirror and say, how can I improve? How can I get better? What can I do differently? Or do you blame other people? Do you blame other people and say it's someone else's fault? Are you able to self-regulate? Can you control what you say and how you say it so that you don't react, but you respond in a measured, calm way that won't affect the long-term result you're aiming for? Can you build yourself up? Can you motivate yourself to really continue to do things, even when things are shit and times are tough? The best do that, but they also build themselves a position of empathy where they get what's going on in their world, their people they're engaging with, and they focus on them, not themselves. And can you build relationships? Can you socialize and engage with people? If you can master those 5 elements along the concept of emotional sales intelligence, I guarantee you, you will see a difference in your sales results month on month. There's some resources I'm going to be sharing on my website soon. So a new test that I'm introducing, how you can measure your way to be able to measure your own emotional sales intelligence. But get this right. Start looking at how you adjust your behaviors and approach, and you're going to move from being the average or potentially good to being one of the very best, which in turn has huge amounts of rewards, huge amounts of benefits, and makes you feel that you've achieved what you want to, which is from the career in sales that you have. My name's James White, I'm the UK's leading prospect conversion expert, and thanks for watching the video. I hope that I've given you some ideas on what you can do to become more ESI focused and build your ESI skill set. If you need some help, reach out to me, put your comments in the section below, and I'd love to share some ideas and thoughts on how we can help you build your ESI level up to win more business. Hit that big subscribe button if you love the video. Make sure you get my updates on a Saturday morning. And if you love the content I share in my videos, why don't you head on over to my website at www.jameswhite.business. The link is below, and sign up for my Saturday sales tips, where every week I share ideas and thoughts on how you can get better sales results and stop you from missing out on opportunities from a sales perspective. Fill your bank balance by delivering better sales. You do that, you're going to be in a better position to go from where you want to be. Sign up to the sales tips, subscribe to the videos, follow me on social media, and I look forward to helping you get better sales results.